when we were talking about Dherbs, and I was mentioning the problems, this is not an American problem. We are massively dealing with diabetes, but you go to India because of the middle class increasing sugar consumption, there is a problem with diabetes that is pandemic. So whether you look at hypertension, obesity, just the inequity of reality of what it takes
Right.
to live in the world, right? I mean, AD Dolphin is my guest. The number for Dherbs, again, let me just give it because I want you to call them. I want you to say, I heard this from Danielle Lynn. And the number is 866-434-3727. You know I don't shamelessly promote a lot of stuff like that, but I already know that if we all went on this together once a year, if that's what you could take and do and say, I'm cutting it out for 20 days, I'm doing this, that the world, AD, wouldn't you agree? I mean, things would be very different for humanity.
Wow, we need to recharge. Give
Yeah.
the body the vacation that it needs. And that's what it is. We expect our body to perform 365 days out of the year, but we don't tend to do anything for it. And for those 20 days, that's your time to give back. Give back to your body, treat it special, give it the attention that it needs and it wants so it can perform throughout the year for you. And that's really what you're doing.
All right, so let me set the expectations. So I'll give you an example. My friend, I won't mention her name. She's one of my darling friends. She did the cleanse the first time. Most of everybody
Right.
I know now has been on it and knows time to go round. She had been taking quite a number of pharmaceuticals because she had back problems, and
Right.
then she was drinking coffee.
Right.
So when she started the cleanse, she got headaches.
Absolutely.
So
Definitely.
explain the expectations. I never got that, but, you know,
Different lifestyles.
yeah.
Everybody has a different lifestyle. So depending on what you're going through, and that's kind of like what we spoke about in the beginning, is the different effects the cleanse is going to have on you. So therefore, if you're a big coffee drinker or a big soda drinker and you drink a lot of caffeine, when you have caffeine withdrawals, you get headaches.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it is. And a lot of times, pharmaceutical drugs, even though your doctor has signed off on it and said it's okay, it doesn't mean that your body's not dependent on it after a certain amount of time. So therefore, you're getting withdrawal symptoms from that also. So that's what I always tell people. You gotta kind of pick who you want to be. If you're trying to really truly clean out your system and you're trying to move in a more healthier direction, then therefore you have to do, different things. And cleansing can definitely get you on that path.
It's interesting. I was just reading another stat. I think you and I should get on a plane and go to West Virginia. Do you know it has not? I'm serious, and I'll tell you why. Not only does it have one of the highest opioid problems,
Wow.
but it was the one. It was
Wow.
also the place where my dad wanted to, when he passed. He had land there, and he wanted to be buried. So West Virginia was always kind of this special place. But of course, I didn't realize it's the 10 states it has the highest hypertension. Imagine getting on a plane, talking to the governor of someplace like that, and saying, "Listen, let's do a challenge. Let's help your state."
Right.
Because state by state, when I mentioned this earlier, when I'm talking about Dherbs and I'm talking about cleansing, yeah, for those of you that do the green movement, you do smoothies, this will be an addition.
There you go.
That's what this will be. It will be an addition to your transformation. For those of you that are worried about hypertension, heart disease, obesity, depression, the states of being that come from ill health, Dherbs is an introduction for transition.
Wow. It's funny you even mentioned that. And the one thing I always try to clear up for people, a lot of times people assume that, you know what, my father had it, my mother had it, and that means they're going to have it.
Right.
In the sense that diabetes, hypertension, heart disease, all these different things. And I always try to explain to people, yeah, you do have similar genetics as your parents. And It's true. If you eat similar foods, it is definitely possible for that to happen. But you have to eat those foods. If you steer away from them, or you become a vegan, or you change your lifestyle, or you're constantly cleansing, that's not going to be your outcome. It's not. And it doesn't have to be. And sometimes we just just automatically assume since our parents had it, we're going to have it. And it's absolutely untrue. 100%.
Yeah, you just said some very important things because my mom, I didn't even know until last year. My mom passed away when I was 25. She was 50. And I didn't know until a year ago that she had breast cancer because back then they called it lymphatic cancer. And that's all it was.
Okay.
So I have no intention of getting breast cancer. Like, it's not even on my purview. It's just not even my story. It's never going to happen. I already know that. I just, I can tell you that because once you become conscious, you start to realize you're responsible.
Right.
And I think when I called you and asked you, is it possible that my consciousness lifted when I started Dherbs? I truly meant it because I sensed a different body of perception. Like your eyes get clearer. You actually, like the film on your eyes, that's like protein coating them, right?
Right. It's like this fog has been lifted.
Right.
And now you can see. And now you feel different. I mean, the one thing that's so crazy is even when I cleanse today, I begin waking up at 4:30 in the morning, fired up, ready to go, looking for stuff to do. So it's amazing how your body can change within those 20 days.
Yeah, only 20 days. So every single one of you that's listening that trusts me, right? I'm throwing out my trust card, right? Imagine if because like my kid arrives like yesterday, any second. I'm like, and it's behind schedule, all right? So I was like thinking, all right, I'm getting this done the first day. But you also have to emotionalize. And one of the things you mentioned, it's not just the food. You have to decide that you want a different outcome, that you're willing to do it. So you were on TV, you're on Steve Harvey, you're helping these women who are getting married. You said to me that there were a number of them who lost X pounds. One of them only lost 10 pounds, and you said she was?
She wasn't committed.
Right.
She wasn't ready. So she hadn't made the change mentally that the other girls have made. So we had one lose 29, 28, 25, and she was one of the bigger young ladies, and she could have lost much more than all of them, but she hadn't made those commitments. It's funny that you even talk about this because when I went to go spend time with each one of these ladies, she was the one I was worried about, and the reason being is because we were in the car. She was taking her son to school in the morning, and we were talking. And she stopped at a fast food restaurant for the morning. And I just mentally said, she's not ready and she's not doing this. Because what happens is, especially when you're the leader in your family, when you're the leader, when you're in charge of distributing the food in your family, everyone begins to do it, period. When your lifestyle changes, everyone in the house lifestyle changes. And it just happens whether or not you're conscious of it or not. And I knew she wasn't mentally there yet.
Yeah, so you can, and that's where you said you change the household. You also change your neighborhood. You also change your circle. You also change your community. So linking this idea of going on a cleanse, like, it's like I wanted to send out, Utah happens to have bad air. We have bad air. Not all the time, but when it's bad, it's bad. And I was like, I want to send out face masks. Because, in Japan and China and these places, out of respect, people wear them. And I was like, wow, what if I started a campaign and sent out the face masks? Not because of just wearing the face mask, but becoming conscious of the problem and taking responsibility. So I love, the idea with Dherbs versus all the other companies I've ever cleansed with or done the juice or done apple cider vinegar. It's all the things. I've tried them all. That this fits into the philosophy of our show as to how do we all take responsibility one day at a time. Let me give you the information. Call and tell me you heard AD on Danielle's show. You're my friend. He's my friend. The number's 866-434-3727. If and when you call me or send me an email. My number's right there. And just let me know you're doing this, and we'll do this together. I can't wait till I get in my leopard pants.